Hey guys, this is a new series I'm starting, the How to League of Legends series. I apologize, I intended to use the client for this and OBS to record this, but when I tried to edit it in Movie Maker and a couple other programs, the file itself showed up corrupted. So I'll be trying to update videos here later on. At some point I'll be trying to make better quality videos. Until then, I'll be making just vlogs like this. Now, to get started, I'm going to be explaining certain aspects of League of Legends. This is specifically for level 30, below level 30 players. People that are above level 30, you're welcome to watch this as well. I'm just going to warn you, it probably isn't as useful to you, and it's probably not as entertaining. But, to get started, what you have to understand about League of Legends as a low-level player is there's a lot of different things that this community has that a lot of other communities shun us for. One of them is Smurfs. A Smurf account is a high-tier player or a higher-level player, somebody that was already reached level 30, and decided to make another below level 30 account to get it to level 30 and place it somewhere differently in ranked. The reason they do this, of course, is to either have just another account get as high as their first one, or to have this account be higher than their first one. The real reason why it's called Smurf, I'm not quite sure. Somebody else more knowledgeable of where the term came from might be able to tell you. Now, why Smurfs are a bad thing for new players like yourselves is the fact that they give you a much worse eye on the community, because these are people that are going to be generally the ones that shun people for playing poorly. And that's not good for new players who don't understand the game. When you have to play against them, it makes it less fun because they already know what they're doing and you're still trying to learn. And when you're playing with them, if you start playing poorly, they're just getting mad at you, and it's not fun that way either. So a good way to avoid them is playing AI versus co-op versus AI. Co-op versus AI is a team of 5 people, you included on that 5, I hope, versus the computers. And there's 3 tiers of it: intro, beginner, and intermediate. And as you level, you can choose which tier you'd prefer to use. Avoid using intro after level 10 and after, because you get a XP and an IP reduction on it. I recommend playing these till about level 12, level 15 area. Reason being, at level 12 you get all your summoner spells, and about level 15 you should have a general understanding of how to start playing the game correctly. About at least understanding that at the tier of a bronze player, which are the lowest tier of League of Legends level 30 players. Now, what you also have to understand is there's a thing called the Summoner's Profile. Summoner's Profile shows you different things like your previous matches, which would, if you look at them, show your score and all other things. So you can look at these and start trying to figure out what you did wrong in that game. You look at your kills, what you did right to get those kills, what you did wrong to get those deaths, what you did right to get assists. You look at your like creep score, which is also minion kills. How many of those did you get? Because you might want to try to get those more higher later. Another thing that you can do is, of course, look at runes and masteries. Runes and masteries are used to augment your in-game stats. You have to spend influence points to buy runes. You gain a mastery every level. Now, rune slots open up per level, and up until level 30 you won't have all of them until level 30. There's different types of runes, and there's different types of masteries. The masteries fall into 3 different trees. You don't have to spend any influence points on masteries, but you do have to wait to gain points for them. You get 1 per level. You also get, when you buy runes, there's different tiers of runes. I'd recommend waiting until you're level 20, because then you unlock tier 3 runes, which are the best runes. Have these runes readied by level 30, because then you'll actually have them prepared, and if you really want to just jump into rank, then you at least have runes to back it. You also need to buy champions. Champions are the characters in League of Legends. The names for them are champions. To play ranked you need 16. To play any type of draft mode you need 16, and at certain levels you'll unlock certain play modes. You unlocked rank at level 30, you unlock team builder at level 20. Normal draft mode you unlock whenever you have 16 champions or more. You also can, upgrading your masteries and runes are reliant on what you want your champion to do. Are you going to be a tank? Are you going to be a damage dealer? You have to understand the roles to understand which ones you got to apply this to. So to do that, I'm going to tell you what 5 roles are common in League of Legends. you have, starting with the bottom lane, you have the support role. The support is an all-around support for the team. Your point is to assist your teammates to getting kills. They're supposed to get the kills, you're supposed to set them up to get said kills. So you're the guy that's in the background. You also, this role unfortunately is an ungratifying role once you get into higher levels. A lot of people don't thank you for doing, oh my bad, a lot of people don't thank you for doing what you do, and you don't get a lot of the credit because you don't get a lot of the kills. And then you have the ADC. In bot lane, the support's job is to make sure the ADC gets to the point of carrying the team. So early on, they're looking for you to carry them. Now, as the game goes on, it's supposed to kind of switch. You're supposed to move to being the one that gets on their back, and they carry you to victory. If they can't do that, your team's going to be in a bad spot. And the warning I give to support players is the ADC players like myself, I've gotten better at it, but a lot of them haven't, and they're going to be mad at you whenever they're doing bad. And I'm going to apologize on behalf of all of us ADCs that do that. It's not always your fault. Sometimes it is. I'm not going to say it's not always the ADC, but a lot of the time the ADCs do misappropriate their anger towards the support. And then you have, to move on now, we have the mid lane role. The mid lane role is another carry role, usually an ability power one, because you have the attack damage carry, which is the ADC. You could have another attack damage carry in the mid lane, kind of more of an assassin style, but its ability power is better only due to the fact to split up what type of damage you do. Appropriating certain champions to certain comps depending on what type of mobility your team's looking at. That's in a different video, and that will probably be in a different series actually. And now you have the top lane. The top lane is generally your tanks. This is another one-on-one lane, very much like mid lane, and they're actually very similar, so I'm going to do both of them basically at the same time here. The mid lane, your whole point is to deal a lot of damage, and then the top lane, your whole point is to deal some damage but absorb quite a bit of it. You can always fight back and do quite a bit of damage yourself though. The top lane is also known in North America, at least, as the wet noodle fight lane, because at some point you're both probably going to get very tanky to the point that your damage isn't going to match up, and you're both just going to be hitting each other and not doing any damage. It's like hitting somebody with a wet noodle. It doesn't hurt, it's just kind of annoying. And so that's generally what that's known as. As for the mid lane, it just becomes who can kill each other faster or more skillfully kill the other, and that's how you win that lane. Now for the jungle. The junglers are the more skilled type of role. This is another support type role. Your whole job is to go around and make sure each lane is doing well. You're supposed to get them ready so in the mid to late game they can actually start winning. Your team can start winning. You can be a tank. You can support your team by being another tank. You can support your team by being another damage dealer. Depending on what your team needs, depends on what the jungler does. You're also in the area of the jungle, known as the jungle, which just have preset camps with minions / monsters, whatever you wish to call them. They're known as monsters to us that are higher levels. These monsters give buffs depending if you smite them, and some of them give you buffs just for killing them. And later on, you're supposed to give these buffs to your carries so that your carries now have a buff and can carry you, i.e. the name they're called carries. Usually that's what the jungle does. You are a support role. A lot of people try to play it as a carry role, which it can work as, but it's not always the best idea. As for a support, you can do very much like a top or a jungle. You can be a full-on tanky support or a damaging support. Just be knowing what your team needs. If you go a full damage support when your team really needs a tank, you might lose the game for your team. Now, if your team has two really big tanks between top and jungle, you can always add another damage dealer and support, and it might not hurt your team that much. Having 3 tanks, though, is pretty nasty right now. And that about does it for this video. Any questions you have, you can send me in an email. You can find that in the About Me on my channel. In the description, you're going to find my Facebook link as well. If you really like this video, please like it. If you like me, subscribe to me and like me on Facebook. Thanks, guys. I'll see you guys in the next video.